Hello and welcome to another day of Walking with Jesus. As we continue to walk with Jesus, we just have a couple of verses today. They're short and they're not clear. Just saying. There's lots of confusion about what they actually mean and what the point was, but we are going to come up with the most likely of them. This is the conclusion of Luke chapter 14. It's verses 34 and 35, and it's about salt. It says, "Salt is good, but if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is of no use either for the soil or for the manure pile. It is thrown away. He who has ears to hear, let him hear." Okay, so there's just a ton of problems with this passage because one of the things that we think about in terms of salt is that salt is good. Well, we think about what salt is good for, and we think about salt as flavoring. I don't know about you, but my wife and I love salt. Our doctor wishes we didn't love it quite so much as we do, but we do like salt, and it does improve the taste of things. We also know that salt is a preservative, and we could go into the idea of salt being a preservative and that it helps to keep things longer. That's a useful thing. This verse 35 that says it's no use either for the soil or for the manure pile. Oh, there's been lots of conjecture and hypothesis about what on earth is this all about, because according to most of the studies that have been done of the ancient Near East, salt was never used for the soil or the manure pile. There is, in fact, a famous rabbi who had a saying about salt that talked about the fact that salt can no more lose its flavor than a mule can produce a foal. So, we have this conundrum that's going on here, and we have to trust that Jesus knew what he was talking about, and we have to trust that he had a reason for saying what he said, and we have to put it in the context and realize that he was talking to disciples, followers, people who were following him. And we have to connect it to the previous verse, which said that, "So therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple." And basically, there are no half measures in the kingdom of God, and there's no well begun is half done. The idea here is that when you start, as Jesus says in another parable, when you put your hand to the plow, don't look back. Keep going. Don't quit. So salt is good unless it becomes salt, and unless it's not good, unless it loses its flavor, unless it doesn't do what it's intended to do. Disciples are good unless they don't do what they're intended to do, unless they quit following. Because, see, a disciple is someone who follows another and who strives in that following to become like them. And so I think that what Jesus is saying here is that it's good to follow me, but if you're going to do that, do that. Don't turn back. Don't be distracted. Follow me all the way. I think that's what he's saying. There are commentaries and things about this that try to figure something out. All of them, there, as they say, in one of the commentators that I read, is there's actually no good solution to any of the conundrums that are posed by these verses. But I think if we tie it to what came before, and we realize that Jesus is speaking to the disciples and he's calling them to renounce everything in this world in order to follow him. And then he says this, I think that what we need to get out of it is that when we choose to follow Jesus, we need to choose to follow Jesus and stay steadfast in that. Because if we don't, if we do not steadfastly follow him, we're worthless and we'll lead others astray and we'll do great damage to the kingdom of God. So as you walk with Jesus today, I'm just going to encourage you to keep your eyes on Jesus. Allow him to use your life, allow him to fill you, allow him to encourage you, and allow him to shine through you so that you do not become a distraction or a cause for turning back of those around you. Follow Jesus well today. God bless you as you walk with him.